everyone, it's Clarice and today I'm going to be reviewing Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld. This is actually a really heavy book, so I'm just gonna put it down for now. This is the story of an 18-year-old girl named Darcy who at the beginning of this novel manages to get her very first publishing deal. Through this book, we go through the publishing process with her as well as join her in starting this totally new life. Meeting new authors, exploring New York, and basically just growing up and becoming an adult. But in a way, this book is actually two stories rather than one. Darcy's journey as well as the journey of Lizzie, the protagonist in Darcy's first novel, which is a paranormal romance called Afterworlds, about a girl who is surrounded by death. I bought and read this book as a way to see if I would enjoy Scott Westerfeld's stories and writing without having to commit myself to any one of his series. I'm happy to say that after reading this, I really look forward to reading even more of his work. Obviously, the most unique thing about this book is the dual storyline, and I actually really liked how it was done, and I think they worked together really well. I loved how while we were reading about Darcy's career as an author, we were also reading the actual product of all her hard work. And also loved how certain events in Darcy's life that we're able to read about were able to influence the book that she was writing. I don't think I would have appreciated the plot of either story nearly as much without the other. In fact, I don't think I would have liked Lizzie's story much at all if I weren't able to read Darcy's story. I mean, it was okay, but it definitely had its problems, which brings me to the next point. That actually the faults in Lizzie's story became strengths of the story overall. Because Darcy's story was about the publishing industry, and not just about the glamour of it all, but also about its problems, especially in the YA area of things. Because when you think about it, Darcy's story actually pokes fun at a lot of YA cliches. I mean, Lizzie's story is a freaking paranormal romance. The protagonists were even shiny. Does that remind you of anything? As a side note, I actually enjoyed Twilight while I was reading it. But you know, when Twilight came in, paranormal romances became this really trendy thing. And then a lot of YA cliches and stereotypes and overused plot points also came in. And this book actually mentions a lot of those. Honestly, look at the things this book says. It references using things, and by things I mean in this case even Hindu gods, for the purposes of YA hotness. They want the genre tropes, but they can't handle the genre tropes. And another one, that's where the money is in publishing. People who don't read. I'd actually only noticed these things after I'd read the book and let the content of it kind of process in my mind for a while. But this book is actually satire. And after realizing that, I appreciated it so much more. And also, there are many things in this book that would appeal to people who love books. Because of course, it's about the publishing industry. It mentions things like NaNoWriMo, which it actually doesn't mention outright, but Darcy does reference a lot this one November when she wrote for 30 days straight and was able to write her entire novel. So I'm pretty sure that's NaNoWriMo. It also mentions things like BEA, blurbs, signing copies, release dates, and I don't know, overall I feel like a lot of those concepts would resonate with book lovers. And I also wanted to mention that even though this is a 600-page book, actually it's 599 pages, but that's basically 600. It was actually a breeze to get through. I know it looks massive, but most of the days I was reading this, I found myself reading 200 pages or so in one sitting at a time. So I actually got through it fairly quickly for its size. Besides all those, a few other minor points. Sometimes it did feel like Darcy had things way too easy, and there were a few tiny instances when I found the characters in both stories a bit annoying and a bit slow. Like, there are a couple of instances when something was hinted at in one page and I felt like it was really obvious, but the main character was only realizing it a couple of pages later. and that was annoying. But those are actually really tiny things, and overall I really enjoyed this book. And it's definitely a book that I would recommend. Have you read Afterworlds? What do you think? And also, do you have any recommendations for any other Scott Westerfeld books? Because I really want to read more. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!